Okay, and we're back.
Sorry about that, guys. I
It's,
should have peed before the video started.
we've been drinking. I get it.
Yeah, it's
Been drinking. I got time to re-up my drink currently, so
Yeah.
we're good. Um,
yeah,
so
very satisfying.
that's good. That's good. And we fixed the whitewash issue, so
Mm-hmm.
we're good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is probably going to be a shorter section of it, but we'll call this part 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, did we get all the topics that we were going to talk about today?
I don't think so. But
Anything
I thought of
that-
another one while I was peeing.
All right, go for it, man. We got some time. My
something
wife's
that's-
doing her makeup.
something that's
It's only
pretty
6:30.
Current. That thing with Iran and the drone.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that at all today until
I probably didn't think about it just because like it's one of those things like
we don't have a whole lot of information on.
we don't, but it's one of those things like. Like, why would Iran do that, right?
Yeah, it's
Just the question, why would they do that, right? So if we were flying in Iranian territory,
Mhm.
right, we would have done the same thing. Okay. But why, again, are we fighting with Iran?
Yeah. I mean,
Now, I mean, you want to go back to decades ago. Why are we fighting with Iran? Like, is it because they have a dictator? Or is it because they're not giving us what we want? Or what is it?
Yeah.
Like, that's a
That's-
question that I'd look into because like Trump, right? He apparently had something ready to go, like to counteract what they did,
mhm.
but then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But why didn't it happen? Like,
I
what
mean,
is
it's
what's
probably
going on?
like some political shit. Or like, oh, okay, we didn't recognize that as your drone. We didn't know that was your drone or some shit like that.
Or it could have been because yes, that's what I hear. There's a difference between the Iranian government and these, like, lack of a better term, rebels out there that actually shot down the drone. Like, it wasn't the Iranian
so, like,
government that shot it down. It
some
was some other
Extremists
group.
or
Yeah, it was some other
shit
group
like
that's
that.
part of Iran that shot it down. So it's like, can we really hold Iran like responsible for it, or are we trying to go after this group that did it?
at either end of the spectrum. I think we still need to show, like, we need to show them
That's not okay.
Yeah.
I agree, especially since I hear it's one of our like most expensive high-tech drones that we had
Yeah.
that they shot out of the air, which apparently it's not that high-tech if it can't dodge missiles.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's it's one of those things where, like, if somebody like leans up against your car and breaks your mirror, you gotta be like, hey, that costs money. You're gonna either have to pay for that, or at least show some remorse. Because if they did it by accident, if it wasn't their fault, I get it. I'm like, all right, that's my
Or
car
if, like,
mirror.
let's
I
say-
could easily fix that.
Okay, or what if it's like one of those situations? It's not. I'm not even going to use that example. That's a bad example, because that would show like accident. Like, they didn't mean to do that. Somebody meant to shoot.
Somebody
that.
meant to shoot that shit down.
That's not an accident.
So it's like, yeah. So the mirror example is probably a bad example too.
Somebody meant to do that. Like, and that's the unfortunate part is
It's like-
that it's not
So
Iran.
a better example would be is if Iran was a person, right,
Mm-hmm.
leaning up against your car, and that person has severe Tourette's, and their arm twitches and hits the mirror and breaks it. Their arm would be like
But
the
then again, that would
extremist-
be an accident.
Yeah, the twitch would be the extremist
But
group.
it wasn't an accident.
It wasn't an accident.
Like, there's
So
no
the
good
Iran
example
was the thing,
for
wasn't
it.
it? Yeah.
Like, somebody purposely shot that down. We need to show that that's not okay. Now, killing millions of people or killing even thousands of people to do that,
I don't think that's okay. That's not,
I don't know, but that's kind of what a lot of people think, is that we should just bomb the shit out of them, which I don't think is the right way to go.
That's kind of like that's a different look on, like, should we rule or not even rule? Should we be respected by fear or by love? Because there's I forget who it was, but there's a Roman general who whose ideology was you should rule the empire by fear, because
and that never works out.
Love, that can go away like that. As soon as you do something wrong that somebody else doesn't like, they're gonna turn on you and be like, oh, you're not who I expected you to be. We're gonna overthrow you as the emperor. Was
yeah,
his
but
example.
fear is the same route. It just might take longer.
Yeah.
But it also might be a lot worse.
Also, yeah.
Like,
and also in that example, like with fear, they're gonna always want to overthrow you.
Always.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't like this fucking guy. I want to get rid of him.
Which is
and
why
the only way to get rid of him is through violent acts, and a lot of people are gonna die over it, and a lot of people are gonna be upset over it. Like, that's. I would much rather it be a situation where you can say, hey, I disagree with you, and I want to talk this out, right? Clearly that doesn't really happen in our world in this time, which it hasn't really in a long time, like, worked like that. Nobody talks shit out. It's always, let's knee-jerk reaction, fuck shit up. And it's not the way I would go about it, but hey, man.
Yeah.
I'm not in a leadership position like that, so.
Not a general, not a. Yeah.
Nope.
It's
But you can vote for it. You can vote for the people that are in a position like that.
Yeah. Every 4 years or so.
Every 2 years.
2 years.
Every 2 years you get a vote for something that's worth it.
Okay.
And then
I don't know. I haven't voted.
You should vote. You
I
really fucking should vote.
I should vote, but the last time I paid attention to an election, even sort of, was Trump versus Hillary. And
everybody pay attention to that.
I didn't look very deep into it. I looked at, this is like the basics of what he believes. This is like the basics of what she believes. These are all the memes about each of them.
Yeah, but that's not
reliable.
It's not good to base your political standing on something of that nature.
Exactly.
Like, you need to.
That was my thought process, and I was like, I don't really want to look too deep into either of them.
Well, you should. It's kind of like your civic duty. Like, that's what I feel like. I know a lot of people that didn't vote, but then all those people that didn't vote can't complain about shit.
I don't complain about shit though.
But there's a lot of people that do.
I make jokes just on like what I hear and what decisions they make. However, I'm not like, oh shit, this is dumbass. This fucking, he should have never been president or anything like that. I'm just like, oh, it is what it is. He's in charge.
I don't like to say it is what it is. I like to say, hey, I voted for whatever, and if it didn't come true to what I voted for, at least I can say I tried and did something. Yeah. I can't say that, oh, well, I didn't vote and I'm still not happy with it. It's like, well, it's because you didn't vote. Yeah. You didn't make your voice heard, and no, dude. Like, I fully believe in voting, and everybody should vote. Yeah. Like, everybody should vote.
I want to ask this question, but I don't know enough about the Electoral College to make
an educated guess or an educated statement.
An educated question, I guess. So.
Well, go for it, man. Fuck it.
I mean, like with the Electoral College, my understanding of it is, whoever gets to put in the votes or whatever shows how much I know about it. I don't know who puts in the votes. I just know it's not actually the people. The people vote. they get the numbers on who voted for what, and then they can basically say, oh, well, more people voted for Hillary, but I want Trump, so I'm going to vote for Trump. And that's who all our electoral college credits are going to go to.
So,
is there like a percentage where like
so electoral college,
if
right?
it's more than like 60-40 to this way?
Nope. So electoral college is this. All right. The people who vote in electoral colleges or who decide what state is voting for what, right? Those are elected officials. Okay.
Yeah. There's like senators.
So
or
our people, no,
House of
they're not
Representatives?
senators. They're not even House of Representatives. They are separate people,
They're separate people.
from my understanding.
Oh, okay, that's good shit.
Right.
That's
So
understandable.
we get to vote to say who's going to represent this state as an electoral college, right? So when we do that, let's say we voted a Democrat in for the electoral college, right? So now the presidential campaign comes up, and when the votes come in, let's say it's 90 to 10. Let's say it's 100 to nothing Republican, but a Democrat's in there. I mean, in theory, in good practice, that person should vote for what the majority of their state is voting for.
Well, that's...
Now, do they have to? No, not in the slightest. Do they have to?
Oh, okay.
But
that was going to be my question. Is
they're
if
risking not getting elected next time, because if 100% of the people voted for the opposite of what you voted for,
do they get paid?
Yeah,
for
they
that
all
job?
all those people get paid.
Like
yeah.
a substantial amount?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Oh, okay.
But my
I was
point
gonna say,
is,
because if they don't get paid like a substantial amount, who gives a fuck?
I'm sure they get paid, and it's not even that. It's you're in political power.
Yeah.
You're in
which
power.
a
Power
lot
is
of people
sometimes
hold
worth
as,
more
like...
than money.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So your electoral college, right, then goes and says, all right, Minnesota is going to vote Democrat this time. So all the electoral votes from Minnesota, whatever that number might be, goes towards the Democratic vote.
Okay.
So, again, if 100% of them voted Republican in Minnesota, they'd look like, why the fuck is Minnesota voting Democrat? This is bullshit. And they'll be furious at the time, but when that time comes up for that guy to fucking get reelected, he ain't gonna get reelected. No fucking way.
Would they be able to call for a revote? Or recount?
It doesn't matter. Like, you call for a recount for, like, actual... So, think about it this way, right? When President Bush won, right? President Bush, like, George W. Bush, not George H.W., right?
Yeah.
George W. He technically lost the popular vote to Al Gore. He did, but he won the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Right?
And they called for a recount?
No. That's it.
Oh, okay,
Hillary
that's it.
lost to Trump in the Electoral College, but won popular vote.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The last president I know of...
I knew that Al Gore won the popular vote when George W. Bush was elected.
Yep.
However, I was not old enough to like understand what that meant.
Yeah.
Whenever I learned that.
So that means
it's like 11.
So in my mind, that means that most of the country wanted this person, but because we have a corrupted system, some other person won.
So that was going to be my question was like, is there a percentage in which
not really,
if it was above 60% for this person
you
in
have
your
to
state,
regardless of what you
have
feel.
to regardless of what you feel.
To my understanding, there's not.
That
to my understanding,
that
whoever the elected
official
official is said that that's what it goes.
So that is the way I feel it should be. If it's more than 60%,
you shouldn't have any electoral college. Why do we have that? It's a majority. A democracy is a.
But then you got to think
rules.
of like who's voting based on like, oh, I'm a Democrat, so I don't listen to anything the Republican has to say.
That goes both ways.
Want to vote. Well, yeah, I know it goes both ways, but that's just an example. So
yeah,
and
there's a lot of people that do that, and the reason,
which is why I think they have the Electoral College, because these representatives are actually invested in the political world.
So the reason
they understand what's what.
The reason they have the Electoral College is to not have is to have things like, okay, so think about California. They probably have a good majority of the state, or not the state, the country, right? Most people live in California, like LA, right? California. Most people live in New York, right? So if all you have to do to win the majority is campaign in those states, you win.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't matter what anybody else in North Dakota, South Dakota.
I get that with the point system, right? Because there's. Oh shit.
My bad.
So I get that with like the point system where like California gets like 11 electoral college votes or whatever. That's probably not specific. Please don't call me a dumbass in the comments. But when it comes to like making informed decisions, I think that's where the electoral college.
No, the electoral college, in my opinion. Cool. The electoral college is there to make it so the candidates don't just appeal to the coasts, basically. Think about the majority of this country. They live on the coasts.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And Texas. Well, I guess Texas is on the coast.
I mean, yeah. So that's what I'm saying, right? So all you'd have to do is, if I wanted to win presidency, and if we didn't have electoral college, in theory, all I'd have to do is campaign in California, in New York, and parts of Texas, and I'd win. That's the majority of the fucking people, you know. You don't have to worry about what Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, you know. You don't have to worry about these people because they make so little, like, difference, right?
With the votes,
With the votes. Right, so that's what the idea of electoral college is. But when it comes down to it, the policies that are put in place, right? The majority of people live in these places, right? And why does the 10 fucking rednecks that live in Montana, right? Because that's all that lives in Montana is 10 fucking people who are racist, bigoted, fucking farmers or ranchers. Why do they get this, like, an exuberant amount of fucking voting power as a state like California? Why?
Yeah.
Why do they get the fucking same voice, right? Those 10 people could be the most horrible people in the whole world, right? But those people are in charge of that state, and that state gets the fucking votes for it, so that counts. That doesn't make, how do I put it, like that. So if 100 people, or if 99 people said, hey, you know what, racism's wrong, right? But they only count for, 50% of the vote, but then that one person that says, no, I like racism, counts for 51%? Why? Why does that make it?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Sense. I understand that. That makes sense to me. I got it.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, why you get the same amount of fucking voting power as the rest of the world or rest of the country? You shouldn't. You should be. It should be a democratic situation. I know we're technically a republic, but those.
What's the difference between a democratic country and a republic country?
A democratic is majority rules.
Yeah, I understand.
A republic is not. I mean, if you want me to look up the exact terms of a republic versus democratic state, I can. But pure democracy.
I want the layman's term.
Pure democracy is.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah, pure democracy is majority rules. Period.
Yeah.
And if that were true, we'd have a democratic president for the last 20 years. They've always won. Okay. They've always won. Majority rules. If you want to look at it, they've always done it. But because they don't win the key states like Florida, like Michigan, like Ohio, like Pennsylvania.
The swinger states?
Yeah.
Is what they call it?
Yeah. The swing states. They don't fucking... And so that swing state, right, can go...
Swinger states.
And they have a lot of voting power, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might lose by 0.01%. You might lose by that little bit of people, but by losing that much people, you lose 20 fucking electoral votes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking votes, right? In theory.
Uh-huh.
So it's, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the electoral college at all. I really don't. And I think we should do majority rules. I get why there's some problems with it, but honestly, I'm devil's advocate of that, though. If you only polled well in California and New York, doesn't really matter because you're not going to get 100% of each state. So let's say you get 60, 70% of each state. You know how much more country's left? If everybody else is against that, you're still not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you just
sense.
need to... It's democracy. I want majority rules. I want that. If I voted for that person, I don't want... That's why a lot of people think my vote doesn't count, because if I vote Democrat in a Republican state, it doesn't matter because they're going to vote Republican.
That's what I'm saying is, like, there needs to be, like, if we continue to use the Electoral College, which I'm sure we will, there needs
Hopefully
to be like a revision where, like, over this percentage, we have to vote this way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But who makes that percentage? That's what I'm saying. Who makes that percentage?
Congress.
And also, again...
The Senate. Whoever makes the fucking laws. Legislative branch?
Fucking hell, dude. My dog is freaking out.
Yeah, Odin found a squirrel. Sounds like.
No, he's just hearing the neighbors. But anyways, but that's the problem, man. Like, because it... And that's where a lot of people say, oh, my vote doesn't count. Because you look at things like... Let's say I live in Texas, which is predominantly a Republican state.
Yeah.
Right? We'll probably say that Texas is always going to be Republican. It's been a Republican state for a very long time. But I'm a Democrat, right? And I live there, and I work there, and I want my stuff changed. So it doesn't really matter what I vote for, because it's always going to be a Republican. I'm outnumbered, regardless. Yeah. And the Electoral College will then always reflect that I fucking live in a Republican state.
You want to go get him?
No, I don't, because I got to stop this again. We're just gonna. I'm gonna say this last thing, and then I think we're gonna be done for the day.
Okay.
So, you hold on. So if you live in or here, we'll even go to, because I'm Democrat, very Democrat. So let's do it in the face of Republicans. All right, if you're a Republican and you live in a state like California, California used to be a Republican, but now it's very Democrat. And you're a Republican, you like your Republican ways, and you like what you're, you know, what you like, and you vote for what you want, right?
Like
no matter what you do as a Republican, no matter what you vote for, you're never going to get your way, because you live in a state that's Democrat. So what does your vote count for? You know, if you voted for your entire life, right? Say you're 80 years old and you're still voting Republican. You voted Republican since you're 18. Well, how often does your vote count, really, in an electoral college situation? How often does it count?
Yeah.
It doesn't, because California will I won't say always, should not say always, has been voting Democrat for a very, very long time, and they're not going to change.
Yeah. So
your vote doesn't count. So then you look at it and be like, well, my vote doesn't count, why vote?
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want you to be stifled, regardless of what you believe is different than what I believe. I don't want you to be stifled and or your rights to be, you feel like taken away because you live in a state that doesn't agree with what you want. I want you to vote, and I want your voice to be heard.
And I think a lot more people should look into the independent.
No, independent will never. Independent will never win. will never win.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
I
a
think
protest vote.
people should look more into them, so they don't always have to be either Democrat or Republican. A lot of independent parties hold like some Republican views, but with Democratic views.
Right, but that's not going to win.
That's not going to win.
Name an independent candidate that's won a presidency. And maybe I've got my facts wrong.
There are,
but there's not a single one that's even won.
There hasn't been one in a very, very long time. Since I think like the 1800s.
So again, independent vote is not going to get you
That's
anywhere.
because people only see, like the average person only sees Democrat and Republican. And then they hear about libertarians.
Mm-hmm.
Libertarian is one of the more popular independent parties, right? Mm-hmm. They hear about them, and that's all they hear about with the parties. But there are so many more out there that they might agree with.
Yep.
And a lot of people just aren't willing to do the research, and they're like, well, I believe the majority with Democrat, but there's like 25 to 40% of me that agrees with Republican. I'm only going to vote Democrat now.
Listen, you should never ever vote just like so because I'm
because
Democrat.
Of a party?
Just because I'm Democrat doesn't mean that I agree with everything they've done.
Yeah.
All right. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils. Mm-hmm. Period.
Which is what a lot of people considered the last election. Is they thought they were voting for the lesser of two evils.
Yes, but again, unfortunately, certain things we can't talk about, like, period, we just can't.
Yeah. Because
of our jobs and stuff. But you should not, again, if you feel a certain way, vote whatever way you want. I don't care, right? But just know that if you're saying, oh, I don't like either candidate, so I'm going to vote independent, you're not voting for anything. You might as well have not voted.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion. You might as well have not voted because you're not... it's not going to go anywhere. Newt Gingrich has never won, right? Bernie Sanders, when he was running independent, did not win.
But...
right? He transferred over to Democrat.
I should tell you this. What you're saying, you might as well not have voted, contradicts what you were saying earlier about everybody should vote.
What I'm saying is that independent is not a real vote.
No, it's like a minuscule.
Yes, you are voting. Yes, you are doing your civic duties. But just realize that what you're voting for, you know it's not going to win. You know it's not, right? So when you look at things, and the only reason a lot of people vote independent is because they're like, well, I hate both Democrat and Republican candidates, so I'm just going to vote for the middle one. It's like, that's not going to work. You have to look at each side and say, listen, one of them wants to take away our guns, the other one wants slavery. Which one's worse? Think about it. Which one is worse? Which one can you live with and which one can you live without?
Yeah.
Right? There has to, and I'm not saying that anything that currently I've been through is like that. No. I'm just saying that there are very different things. You could say, I don't like the fact they're going to take away my guns. But I also don't like the fact that people are being enslaved. Yeah. Right?
Which
now,
neither situation has been
that.
Like that.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
that
you might hate both ideas, but one's got to be less than the other. One is less horrible than the other.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
have to vote in good conscience. You have to vote with the one that's less horrible.
Yeah. There has never been a situation where somebody says we should bring back slavery.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying...
Well, at least not somebody in political power.
Yeah, I mean, there's horrible people.
There's never been a situation
where I had to vote
heard of
against slavery. I've never had to vote against slavery.
Even with that. But
I've never had to do that.
On the other side, there's also never really been a situation where people have had to vote against getting all of their guns taken away.
You ask the NRA, they say completely different.
So they take away
They thought the Democrats were going to come around and take all our guns away. They thought they were going to... Hillary's about to kick in our doors and take all our guns.
Texas, like, they made that
crazy
flag
motherfuckers.
That was like, come and take it, or whatever.
Yeah, you crazy motherfuckers think that that's actually going to happen?
No.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
it's just like the automatic rifles, or something that perceives like tactical, that looks really fucking military. Those rifles, which, I mean, people can live without.
People can live without automatic weapons, period.
Yeah.
People can live without bump stocks. People can live without silencers.
Yeah.
People can live without a lot of things. Now, do you want to? Is that the American dream? Is that the way to say I should have any gun I want? No.
I don't think that it would be a beneficial way to take away all guns.
I'm not saying that either.
Because
I'm not.
There's
I
gonna
own
be
guns
some
in this house.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna fucking.
I understand that. I'm just saying, like, with on the flip side, with
there's a certain difference between owning my Glock 9mm in my house and owning a fucking rocket launcher.
Yes.
There's a very different.
One is for home defense and the other is for military use. That's what rocket launchers were for.
Automatic machine guns. I should not be able to own a 240.
Yeah,
I shouldn't.
You don't need that to protect your home.
But some people in this country think that's a general right that Americans have. Is I should own a fucking machine gun. You do not need to own a machine gun. If you can't protect your house with a fucking handgun, I don't know where you're living or what you're doing, but you might need to look at your life choices.
You're in a fucking war zone.
If you have to protect your house with a machine gun, you need to look at your life choices.
Yeah.
If there's that many people coming into your house trying to take your shit,
so
like you need to look out.
I think the reasoning behind making gun laws stricter is flawed, because they're thinking like, oh, these gangbangers are not going to be able to get these guns if we make the gun laws stricter.
That's not true at all.
That's not true. They're going to be able to get their hands on it. That's why arms dealers are a thing.
Yeah, but again, how many times have, and I'm sure somebody will look up and say, oh, well, here's the statistic says this is how many robberies were fucking stopped by a good guy with a gun. Was
it a machine gun?
No, probably not.
It was not a machine gun.
But that's not my point.
How many stores were robbed with a machine gun, though?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Right? But we have to look at things like, how often does the good guy with a gun stop a bad guy with a gun? How often? Like, statistically.
Not as often as it should. Because people don't carry around guns like they used to back in the old days.
Not as often, period. Like, it's just not a thing. Right? And who's to say that...
It's because people are uncomfortable.
Who's to say that fucking John Smith down the street, I should rely on him to stop the burglars coming into my house?
It's the guy...
Who's to say that guy's trained? That guy won't accidentally shoot me?
Yeah.
Who's to say that guy won't fucking kill people once they've surrendered? Who's to fucking say that? Like... What's there stopping them? Like, you're gonna go into the Wild Wild West about fucking people just like, look at things like stand your ground states, right? All I have to do is say, don't come near me, and then if you take any amount of steps near me, I can shoot you dead in the streets and be okay.
Oh yeah, that's
fucking ridiculous.
That's like the Make My Day law, and
no, I don't know. It's called stand your ground state. So
yeah, that's the Make My Day.
If me and you had an argument. Yeah. And I pulled my gun out and said, don't come near me, and you took a step near me, I can shoot you dead in the streets and be justified in court.
So
that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. However, it is very clear that you probably shouldn't fucking take a step near them. You should probably just walk away from that situation.
What if I just said you did? What if I just said you came at me?
That's
my point. Yeah. Like, that law should not be around. That law is horrific.
Yeah, I was always raised with, if you're going to hurt somebody, you have to be able to prove that they're going to hurt you worse.
What happened to fighting it out in the streets? All right? What happened to two dudes getting in a scrap? Right?
Yeah, but I don't...
What happened to that shit? Why is it always got to be like, I'm going to shoot you to death now? right? You can come back from an ass whooping.
That's
you can't come back from 30 rounds in the chest.
Yeah, I think
Like,
I think that evolved from taking it out to the streets to dueling, where they used to like take 10 paces, turn around, shoot.
Yeah, but that was with
And
ball
then-
ammunition that fucking
Yeah,
you could shoot dead on and it'd go 20 yards to the left.
yeah.
All right, that's not accurate ammunition.
No, actually I feel like that's even more dangerous because you might hit a bystander.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about current guns nowadays that you.
That's what I said. I think it evolved from that to what it is now.
But
where people realize, oh, this guy's way better than me, so I'm gonna shoot him before he can even take 10 steps.
That's not okay.
No,
you should not be able to shoot somebody in the streets and be justified for it.
It's not. But
Like,
think of this: if I'm 5'6" and 110 pounds, if I look at a dude that's 6'3", 210 pounds, I know I'm not going to be able to take him unless I got this gun. I'm not going to be able to scrap with him in the streets.
then don't start a fight. Why are they fighting?
It's a Napoleon complex.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, dude, if I went up and motherfucking Arnold Schwarzenegger came up and started talking shit, like, to me, I'm not going to be like, guess what, dude, it's time to fucking fight. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be like, all right, you can have your opinion. I'm going to walk away. Like a sensible, reasonable, adult human being.
But yeah, there's that thing where it's so ingrained that you should have pride in yourself, and that
there's nothing shameful about walking away from a fight you can't win.
Yeah,
there's
you
nothing
shouldn't
shameful.
be a coward.
I'll tell you right now, dude, if fucking Conor McGregor, I don't even like the guy, but if Conor McGregor came in here and started fucking flipping over tables and said, I'm going to fuck you up, bro, I'm going to get the fuck out of there. I'm not going to fucking be like, yup, time to fucking fight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I don't like the guy, but I'm not going to just fucking...
Yeah. And even
I can't take him. I'm bigger than him, and I'm not going to take him.
Even in that situation, you're outclassing him. You're in a higher weight class.
I'm not going to win.
But he's still going to beat the shit out of you.
You need to pick your fucking fights, man.
Yeah.
All right? And there's a difference between defending yourself, all right? If a guy comes at you with a knife and you fucking shoot him dead, I got it, man. If a guy is going to assault your woman and you got to defend her, there's a difference between if a guy slaps your lady's ass, doesn't mean you get to shoot him in the face. Okay? Does not mean that.
You would think that's common sense, but
it should be common sense.
They still have they train us.
That guy should be
within the.
If that guy ever did that to my wife, I'm gonna fucking get worse with that guy. And worse comes to worse, I mean, I'll probably hit him, to be honest. But you know, let's say I walk up and a guy's hitting on my wife and she doesn't want it. I'm not gonna just go up and be like, guess what, dude? I'm gonna shoot you dead right now. But a lot of people think that's okay. A lot of people think that, oh, he's harassing my wife and I have the right as an American to fucking shoot him dead.
It's not okay. You can say, hey man, don't fucking do that shit. If it escalates, I've got this piece right here.
No, if it escalates, it should be the last thing. That should be the last thing you do is to shoot someone. The last thing. If he's got buddies, right, that are beating the shit out of you while he's raping your wife, I'm gonna pull my piece out. There's a whole different. You've escalated to like 0 to 100.
No. That's what I'm saying. If it escalates.
But you went from 0 to 100. I'm talking like
that's the highest point that it can escalate to.
Of course. Well, that's a difference. Like, there's a difference between like
and that shit can escalate really fast.
I mean,
I'm not saying that every guy who smacks your wife's ass is gonna want to rape her, but you should always be aware of where that could escalate to.
Of course, all right, and you should be prepared for it. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna preemptively shoot this guy because he might do something.
Yeah.
Right?
There's gotta be there's obviously gonna be like, oh, he's gonna step forward and be like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? And then his buddies are gonna step forward after you.
And you know what? There's sometimes you just have to take the L, dude.
Yeah.
If me and my wife are at a club and some guy and 5 of his friends show up and they're like, yo, dude,
and it's just
like,
you,
and he like touches my wife inappropriately and he's like, what are you gonna fucking do about it? Guess what, dude? We're gonna get out of there.
Yeah.
And if we can't get out of there,
we're gonna go home and call the police.
If we can't get out of there, then you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But there's so little fucking chance of you not being able to get out of there.
There's not enough people that would be willing to swallow their pride for that.
And that's a shame. That's a pride thing, dude. And you know what? If I was religious, I'd say that's one of the horrible sins.
It is.
But I'm not.
It is.
Right? You can't always win. Sometimes you're gonna take the L, right? And hopefully your significant other can respect that you took the L, because I'm not gonna get my ass jumped by 5 dudes.
I'm not gonna end up in the hospital.
Yeah, or I'm not gonna go murder 5 guys over that. I'm not gonna do either one. Is not gonna happen. So sometimes I'm gonna take the L, walk away, my tail tucked between my legs, and fucking just go home.
Your significant other should be able to recognize that you aren't the one who did wrong. That guy who smacked your ass was the one that did wrong.
Exactly. But that's a lot of thing too. A lot of these guys are like, that's a bitch move, you know. You're not being a man. You should have stood up for your woman. It's like, bro.
But think about it this way: I'm not hurt. She's not hurt.
Yeah. She might be uncomfortable.
She might be a little uncomfortable, a little bit embarrassed.
Yeah. But we're all gonna live another day.
I'm gonna live. I'm not taking a pay cut.
Yep.
I'm gonna be able to provide for her the same.
Yep. And guess what? I'm not in the hospital. I'm not in a courtroom facing a murder five murder charges.
If somebody broke into my home and then smacked her ass, that'd be different.
If someone broke into my home, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
All right. That's a castle law. Castle law, I agree with, right? Mm-hmm. If someone walks in my home that I don't want in there, I have the right to do what I got to do.
Exactly.
Right? But that's in my home. That's my domicile. That's my fucking place.
That's where you should.
Public streets, that's a different thing.
Yeah. That's where you should be able to take care of yourself, take care of your woman, protect
take care
her.
of your property and your family. That is what you should be able to take care of. But in the streets, I had a conversation with a guy who was talking about like, oh, what if someone come up and try to steal your Tesla? I'd be like, they can steal my Tesla then.
I've got insurance, guys.
Yep. You go right the fuck ahead.
Yeah.
Take my fucking Tesla because I'm going to fucking call the cops immediately when you're out of sight. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all I have to do. I don't have to worry about getting stabbed. I don't have to worry about getting shot. Take my car.
Even with your wallet.
Take it.
Take it. I'm going to freeze those credit cards.
Yeah.
You can have the $12 that's in it.
Yep. Take it. Go on, man.
I may like converse with you and be like, hey, man, can I take my ID at least? I wouldn't even do that.
I'd just be like, yo, bro, take it. Take what you got.
No.
Or what I got. You can have it. Just don't hurt me and my wife. We'll be fine.
I would like to
as you start to threaten to hurt me, then I gotta step in.
I would like to think that in that situation, I would be like, "Hey, man, can I have my ID? Can I grab my my Dave and Buster's card?"
Odds are good that the guy who's probably robbing you is not mentally sound. If not, they're probably on drugs. I mean, there's a reason why they're robbing you.
I wouldn't push it if they were like, "Man, fuck you, give me all that shit." And I'd be like, okay. All right, take it, man. Whatever.
You should probably keep your ID separate from your wallet. I do.
What do you mean? Like my driver's license?
No, any ID.
Well, that's
like I've got my military ID separate from my wallet. Like that's 2 different places.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Is like my driver's license, my military ID if I have it in there, but my Dave and Buster's cards. That's very important. I have like 1,000 tickets on there.
That's it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't go to Dave and Buster's that often. But.
Oh man, football season's about to come up. It's about to be Dave and Buster's time. But yeah. I don't know. There's certain things that people take to a fucking level that never meant to be. Mm-hmm. And they just think, oh, because at one point in the 1800s they thought it was okay, doesn't mean in 2019 that it is okay.
Well, yeah, I don't think people are actively thinking about that, but that's what I would theorize. That's what I would theorize is where it evolved from, like people using guns to settle disputes.
No, it evolved from making sure your government's not a tyranny, right? That's
no. I mean, like not. That's owning guns. People owning guns for that reason.
That's why people own guns.
And then using those guns to settle personal disputes between you and me as 2 separate people from the government.
Right, but that's not originally what it... Like, originally, the Second Amendment was just, hey...
Yeah.
we own guns, so our government isn't going to be a tyranny. That we as a people can build a militia and fucking, get rid of our tyrannical government.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what people consider.
But that was back in the day when you had a one-shot fucking pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and
that you all lined up in a line in the woods and walked in a formation. Like, no one does that, right?
Yeah.
And also, we have much more advanced weapons than a fucking musket loader.
That's why people think that they can own machine guns. Is because it says that I can own the same type of gun as the military.
It doesn't specify what arms. It just says arms.
It says well-armed militia.
Yeah. Which
people consider, well, if I've got just a bunch of pistols and they've got machine guns. How well armed are we versus them?
Well, there's a lot more of us.
It's all relative. And there's a comedian. I don't remember what comedian it is. I'm really bad with names, but he was like, if we brought I think it might have been Joe Rogan, but he said if we brought one of the founding fathers back to life today, and he
saw what we were doing.
He saw that we didn't update the Constitution at all.
Yeah.
He'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You guys didn't update that shit at all.
Well, I think Thomas Jefferson said something like every 20 years it needs to be updated. Yeah. Like he said that. Like, it's written down somewhere that we should update the Constitution every 20 years. But I don't agree with that either.
We're adding to it. We're not
amendments. That's what amendments are for.
Yeah, we're not really updating it, though.
You're updating it. You're just not getting rid of the core principles, right? Yeah. You can still have the Second Amendment, but make whatever amendment we're on. I don't actually know. That's pretty bad being American, not knowing that. But
there are people that are not as well educated that think changing the Constitution is unconstitutional.
Right.
But like you just said, Thomas Jefferson said it should be updated every 20 years or so, or whatever he said.
But we need to amendments, man. That's all I'm saying. Amendments are fucking.
And they don't even take away amendments. They only add amendments to
counteract other.
Because the Prohibition Amendment, it's still an amendment.
Yeah, but we got rid of it.
But we just made another amendment to say, that amendment.
It's not like you take it out and say, oh, where's Amendment 12? It's not there anymore. No, it's still there. It's just you look down the line to Amendment 20 and see that Amendment 12 doesn't pertain anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all you got to do.
Should use 12 as an example.
What's 12?
Oh, shit, never mind. 13 to 15 is the civil rights. That's the abolishment of slavery and shit like that.
See, didn't even
know.
But
not 12. 12 is okay. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck.
Don't know what it is either. But my point is like we're not trying to take away amendments. You're just adding amendments to say, hey, remember that thing we thought back in the day? Yeah, that really doesn't apply to 2019. We should probably say, maybe we don't all need grenades in our homes or claymores set up in our fucking yards.
Which that's already illegal. I'm pretty sure is to own an active grenade or an active claymore. I don't know. You can own the dummy shit.
I mean, why is it that you can't own a grenade but you can own an automatic weapon? I mean, you probably do more damage with an automatic weapon than a grenade.
You can.
Like one grenade vice one 240. I mean, I could do way more damage with a 240 than a fucking grenade can.
Depending on how much ammo you have.
Yeah. But that's my point.
Well, one. Oh shit.
What's 240 rounds? What were those? Just 240?
I don't.
I think they're 240.
240, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
240.
But anyways,
but like, how many does it come with magazines or is it a drum?
No, they're a string.
A string.
Right? So
think of like one
box.
Bandoiler.
I don't know. One box. One box of fucking rounds, dude. I could fucking. Yeah. I mean, right, and that's the thing. Like, vice one grenade. One box of rounds vice one grenade. I could.
Yeah, and they I think my buddy who just went with he's a corpsman and he went through
FMF?
like the extra boot camp or whatever that they go with the Marines.
FMF.
And they taught him that the range on a grenade for fatality,
it's like 3 to 5 feet, isn't it?
It's 15 meters.
Oh shit, way longer than I thought.
Yeah, for like injuries and shit.
Injuries though.
Yeah.
You could come back from an injury, dude. A 240 round through my chest is not gonna fucking look well.
No.
For me, like I'm probably not gonna survive that.
you might not always hit your shot in the chest. I still agree that you would
Right.
be able to fuck up a lot more people.
But a fucking one shrapnel to the arm is not also going to kill me either.
No.
Not.
That's what I'm saying. Is one bullet with a 240 to the arm is not going to kill you.
There's a lot more bullets in a
But there's a lot more bullets than there is that one grenade shrapnel.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a never-ending battle that we'll have to tackle as a country. But yeah, I think we should probably cut it there, man. I just gotta go. I gotta go to this Gaelic festival, man.
Yeah,
I gotta get out of here. My wife's been fucking blowing up my phone.
Yeah, I gotta go.
So.
Do PlayStation things.
Yeah, dude. I don't. Apex, bro. Apex.
Yeah.
All right. This is the end of part 2 of
Shopcast
episode
number
3. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments section. We'll check them.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. If you need to email us something, like if you want to be on the show or fucking you have a good idea that you want us to talk about, something
any
like
topics,
that.
any corrections to what we said.
Yeah.
Even that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't like what we fucking said, that's cool with me.
Just what's the email?
Email is therealshopcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. We'll add that in the description.
Yeah. Just hit us up, let us know, man. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.